we're finishing up section 9.1. This chapter 9 is about significance tests. So which is a formal procedure for comparing observed data with some sort of claim about it. Last time we talked about how to state your hypothesis. And we talked about the p-value, which we'll calculate next time for proportions. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll have more notes tomorrow. But when we're doing these significance tests, what types of errors can be made, and how do we know if it's a type 1 or type 2 error, and what effect does that have if we make a type 1 or type 2 error? So it's best to look at this in sort of a chart format for type 1 and type 2 with like 4 scenarios. And so you either reject H naught, or you fail to reject H naught. Which are we trying to do? We want to reject H naught because really we're trying to prove the alternative hypothesis. Fail to reject H naught. Okay, so if you reject H naught when H naught was actually true, that would be a mistake, and that's classified as a type 1 error. Type 1 error. If you reject H naught and H naught was false, so you should reject H naught. That also means, of course, that H sub A is true. Then you're happy. That's a good thing. That's not an error. If you fail to reject H naught and H naught is true, then that's a good thing. So there's no mistake there. But if you fail to reject H naught and H naught's false, that would be a type 2 error. Type 2 error. And so, and you're not given this on your formula card, so the easiest way to memorize this helps me, I think it gives you this tip in the book, is that to remember this, type 2 means you fail to reject the null hypothesis. Fail to reject. Fail to reject null hypothesis. Fail to reject H naught. And then if you just know that type 2 is fail to reject H naught, then the other is a type 1 error. So you won't get them confused. Just memorize one of them. Type 2 is fail to reject H naught. And we'll do an example of this in just a minute. A couple of definitions for the power of a test. For example, if a test is like 0.87, if that's the power of a test, there's an 87% chance that you'll reject H naught at the chosen significance level. So the power of a test is defined as the probability a test will reject H naught, of course at your chosen significance level, alpha, at chosen significance level, alpha. And that's, of course, you don't want to make an error. That's when H sub A is true, which is what you want. And the probability of making a type 1 error is actually alpha. The probability, so there's a little footnote, probability of making a type 1 error is the significance level, alpha. Probability of making a type 1 error is alpha. Since, for example, like if alpha is 0.05, we would require data to give evidence against H naught so strong it would only happen less than 5% of the time by chance. So the probability of making type 1 error is alpha. The probability of making a type 2 error, this is the last thing for the notes. Probability of making a type 2 error, you can find it by using this formula, that the power equals, the power of a test is 1 minus, we just use the symbol beta, where beta is the probability of making a type 2 error. So if we look at our chart, like the power of a test, the probability a test will reject H naught, like this scenario, let's say the power of the test is 0.87. If there's an 87% chance of this happening, then there would be a 13% chance of this happening, type 2 error. It would just be 1 minus the power of the test.